It appears Senate Democrats have found their fighting spirit, finally, to oppose Donald Trump's corrupt government and Elon Musk's incredible takeover of our financial system. There's reporting that at least 3 dozen Democrats are planning to take over the Senate floor starting last night for 30 hours to oppose Trump's budget office nominee, Russ Vought, who, by the way, that name might sound familiar because this is the architect of Project 2025, which, by the way, they're 100% doing that shit. Donald Trump I don't know how the media continued to believe him when he's a known liar, but he's doing that shit. So Russ Vought, remember that name because we're going to be hearing a lot more of it. Now, of course, we don't have the votes to stop him from becoming OMB director, but we can at least slow it down, which is what we should be doing. We should be making everything as painful as possible. Here's a little bit more of what's happening. At least 3 dozen Democratic senators will take part in a 30-hour talkathon to show they are fighting to stop Vought, a key author of Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation's far-right policy blueprint for Trump's second term. Project 2025 calls for drastic cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. It also calls for a freeze on all federal grants. Interesting. Didn't Donald Trump try to do a freeze on all federal grants? He tried to do it last week, says this article. But he had to rescind it because it looked illegal and left countless federal programs in disarray. He is the architect of dismantling a federal government, said Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii. He said that of Vought in a message on social media on his way to the Senate floor, quote, harming us with Medicaid portal shut down, with Head Start shut down, with agencies illegally stormed and the servers being seized. Okay, I've got a clip of a strategist talking about where we are going from here. But before we get into that, let's just talk about this quote for a second, because he is the architect of it. Harming us with Medicaid portals shut down, with Head Start shut down, with agencies illegally stormed and the servers being seized. Do you think any of that resonates with the American people? Medicaid portal shut down, maybe. Head Start shut down, maybe. Can we just, Democrats are so ready to defend process and institutions and government structures and federal employees, which all noble, but the thing Republicans do so well, they speak not to someone's mind, they speak to their heart. And instead of Medicaid portals shut down, that's not a person. Why can't we say making it so that people could die from not having access to their health insurance? I work in politics. I don't know what Head Start is. So I guarantee you, Bob in Pennsylvania, if he ever reads this quote, it's going to go over his head. And illegally stormed and the servers being seized. I just think people going in there and taking your money, having access to your private information, who knows where it's going, still probably doesn't resonate as much as it should, but at least you're speaking to the immediacy problem for other people. This isn't about process. This isn't about a website. This is about how it's going to impact the daily lives of Americans. And the more that we can make it known that we are trying to defend people from experiencing pain, and that pain is on the way, we have a much better shot of winning the hearts and minds of Americans, which we have to do, because sadly, we kind of lost the game in November. All right, here's one strategist talking about this. It's a black screen, but it'll be color in a second. Here.
2017, nor should it. We're not the same country. It's not the same type of loss.
So protest in the streets is not...
It might happen. It might happen at one point when there is such overreach. I mean, he's already done a lot of overreaching right now, But when something happens where people just say enough is enough, you're going to see litigation. Litigation is already happening. You're going to see people stand up new organizations that have different tactics around media and whatnot. You're going to see protests in the streets. I think you're going to see work in blue states and in red states around in the elections next year. It's not gonna look like what we saw, where millions of people in the first week go to the Capitol and protest. And I'm okay with that. I think the other thing, though, is that this is a moment for Democrats to find the people that are truly being impacted by the policies of Donald Trump and give them voice. Give voice to the working class that we just talked about who are going to be impacted. Waffle House just increased the price of each egg you buy by 50 cents. The last I checked, I was told...
Why? Do you know why they did?
Yeah, because they killed a bunch of bird flu.
There's a
being
bird
honest.
flu outbreak.
Scott knows a lot about chickens, apparently. We heard about that in the break, so I wouldn't shout.
Well, I'm going to bug in here for a second. The reason why egg prices are going up is because of bird flu that Donald Trump has already been mismanaging. Let's keep going.
But eggs haven't gone down.
But to your point, with the impact on people, let me just read this from Ron Fournier, Smart Voice. He talks about the risks for Democrats. He says overheated or faux outrage in defense of unpopular institutions is out of step with these times. Even for those voters repelled by Trump's machinations, there's often something appealing in the change he espouses, if not with popular policy like sealing the U.S. border, often with the general direction of disruption.
I don't think that's necessarily wrong. But again, I think what I said earlier, this woman here reiterated it, is that we have to be the party who defends people and who is speaking up for the people who cannot speak up for themselves. Because yes, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and I don't know how they do it, but they wear the hat of populism and that they're fighting for the everyday person. That lie can only last for so long, because it is very clear. If you saw his inauguration, there weren't working class people behind Donald Trump. It was the richest people in the world behind Donald Trump. That is who Donald Trump is for. And all of these decisions and changes they are making isn't to make life better for you. It's to make more money from them. And the more that Democrats can stop focusing on the specifics of what's happening and talk about the broad impacts, I think the better off we're going to be this year, and especially going into 2026.
Well, I wrote a book after a long journey and a ton of work. I am really thrilled with how it turned out, and I hope you'll read it. The book is called The Echo Machine, and in a nutshell, it looks at how American politics got so broken, who has already figured out solutions, and how we can try to fix it and stop the terror of Trump for the next 4 years. With Trump winning this election, the Echo Machine couldn't be more relevant, not only a warning about how we got here, but also about what might be coming and how to prevent the worst outcomes. We've got to stay engaged. We need a plan, and that's what the book is about. There's a belief out there that unless you have corporate media behind you, you can't have a successful political book launch, that it's not possible. I think we can prove that wrong. Order The Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, anywhere that books, ebooks, and audiobooks are sold. You can also call any local bookstore and say, please order me The Echo Machine by David Pakman. Wherever you get the book, you'll get the free pre-order perks, including the signed book plate. Head to davidpakman.com/free book stuff after ordering.